Hi everyone, it's Agnieszka from 5 Minute Language. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. So today's video is about why I moved to the UK. And I know that I normally share my language learning advice on this channel, so this video is a little bit different. It's a bit of a story time, but many of you have actually asked me this question before, so I thought I would cover it here. So let's get started. When I was younger, when I was still at school, I was always really interested in foreign languages, and especially English. So throughout primary and secondary school, I just loved learning English. And then when I was 16, when I went to high school, I started learning French as well. And that became a really big passion of mine as well. I began to understand that languages was something that I really wanted to do later in life, that I wanted to study languages at university, for example. So I was quite serious about making sure that my French was getting better, my English was always getting better, and that's basically what I spent most of my energy on when I was still at school. And then when I was about 17, 18, this really nice opportunity came up. So as some of you know, I grew up in Poland, and in Poland, when I went to school, at least, I'm not sure if this is still true, but there were kind of language or subject competitions where you could enter, and first there was like a school level, and then if you won the school level, or if you came, I don't know, like in the top 3 maybe in your school, then you would move on to the kind of regional competition, and then you would go to the final, which was like the national competition in that subject. So this opportunity came up to participate in this French national competition. So I did the school level, and then I got through to the regional level, and then I got through to the final, which was the national level of the competition. And it was really exciting. I was really proud of myself. I was really proud of what I'd achieved. And I went to the final and basically didn't do very well in the final, because they didn't only ask questions about the language, but they also asked lots of questions about French history, French culture, French literature, and it was just a lot of information to learn beforehand, and I just didn't do very well. But then it turns out that when you're in the final of that competition, you do actually get rewarded by being able to choose which university you want to go to. And I can't remember the exact rules around this, but it was something like I could basically choose to study linguistics or French at a university of my choice, which was really great, without taking the entry exam. So I didn't have to do particularly well in the final to be able to do it, which was good news, because I didn't do very well in the final. But that was a nice reward. So I knew that I wanted to study languages at university, and I actually visited a couple of different universities in Poland to see what the departments were like, and I was particularly interested in studying either French or linguistics. The only problem was that the degrees that I selected were actually very much language focused. So if you studied French, they were very much focused on the French language, linguistics, and obviously the linguistics degree was linguistics. Whereas I was interested also in literature and culture and politics and all these different things that make up the French culture and language. So I wasn't just interested in studying linguistics. I also really wanted to study 2 languages, English and French, and that was quite problematic as well, because I think at the time in Poland it was only possible to focus on one language. You could, of course, do 2 separate degrees at the same time, but that just seemed very kind of overwhelming and time-consuming, and it wasn't something that I was particularly looking forward to. So probably around the time when I was about 17, 18, when I was kind of getting ready for my final exams at school and choosing what university I wanted to go to, I spoke to a friend of mine who attended the same English evening classes as me, and she said that she was actually applying to go to university in the UK, and she said that she was going to study two different subjects at the same time as part of one degree. And I thought that sounds great because, you know, that's exactly what I wanted. Like, I wanted to study two languages at the same time and only do one degree rather than two degrees. So I thought, yeah, that sounds really interesting. So I started kind of trying to find out, you know, what to do to even consider going to university in the UK. And that was actually around the time when Poland had just joined the European Union at the time, so it became much more affordable for people from Poland to go and study at university because the fees had gone down sort of drastically. I mean, I know that university fees are not cheap at the moment, they're very expensive, but it was a bit different when I went to university. So it became much more affordable, and I began to consider it as an option, as a serious option. So I started doing my research and looking into different universities, different courses, different cities. I'd never actually been to the UK before. All I knew about the UK was, you know, the kind of stuff that you learn at school when you learn English, so I just had no idea what to expect. But I ordered all these different catalogues from universities, and I was really excited about looking through the courses, looking through the universities and seeing what's out there. And then I decided to actually apply. So I chose, I think it was 3 or 4 universities in the UK, and then they basically gave me provisional offers. They told me what grades I needed to get in my final exams at school, and one of those universities was Sheffield. Which is actually the university I ended up going to. So I applied to do English literature and French as part of my undergraduate degree. I was accepted. I was really excited about it. Now when I think about it, you know, I'd never been to England before. I'd never been to Sheffield. I have no idea why I selected that city particularly, but the university seemed like a really interesting one. And when I actually went there, I really, really liked it. I think it's a great university. I definitely recommend it to anyone. There's a great student union as well, lots of activities, really nice people, really nice lecturers. So I definitely recommend it. It was definitely the right choice. But anyway, so I got accepted on this course and I went to study to England, which was really kind of exciting, but also, I don't know, I don't think it was scary, but when I think about it now, I just wonder, you know, how did I make that choice and decided to just, you know, go abroad and far away from my family and friends and all that kind of stuff. But you know, it was easy enough to kind of keep going back to Poland, see my friends, my family, because, you know, you get cheap flights within Europe, which is brilliant. So my intention was never to kind of permanently live in the UK. I thought I would go to university and then see how it goes. But I actually met my husband at university, and he actually comes from London originally. So when we graduated, we basically decided to go to London and, you know, try to figure out what we wanted to do next. And I ended up taking a course to get a qualification to be able to teach English as a foreign language, and I basically started teaching English in London. So that's kind of what happened next. So we stayed in London, and basically I did some teaching jobs, and then that led to lots of different opportunities. I got into content editing, website management. At the moment I'm working with blogs. So that kind of happened very quickly, and I've lived in London for, I think, 8 years now, I think. 8 or 9 years, and I love it. It's a great city. It's really exciting. It's obviously massive and it can be quite tiring, but it is an amazing city. One of my top cities in the world, definitely. So this is the story of why I moved to the UK. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, especially if you're considering moving to the UK or moving abroad. I'm happy to answer any of your questions about anything that you might be wondering about if you're considering that kind of experience yourself. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel as well, and I'll see you next time. Bye!